Step into a medieval hall or church and look up at the roof boards spanning the rafters. At first glance, they might seem placed haphazardly, a simple means to cover the building. But anyone who studies historical architecture knows better. Medieval roof boards were positioned with meticulous care, and every placement decision mattered for the longevity and stability of the structure. Today, we're exploring why the arrangement of roof boards in medieval construction wasn't random, and why understanding these principles can transform how we approach timber roofing today. Subscribe to Echoes of Valor now, because the lessons from centuries ago are still incredibly practical for anyone working with wood or maintaining historic buildings. The first reason placement mattered was to optimize load distribution. Roof boards weren't just laid across rafters uniformly, they were staggered and oriented to distribute weight from snow, wind, and roofing materials evenly across the supporting beams. In heavy snow regions, boards were sometimes spaced strategically to allow for controlled flex under load, preventing individual boards or rafters from cracking. Modern construction often assumes uniformity without considering load dynamics, which can leave boards stressed in the wrong places. By studying medieval patterns, we can apply similar staggering or careful spacing to strengthen contemporary timber roofs. Another critical factor was, moisture management. Medieval roof boards were arranged to facilitate drainage and airflow. The smallest gaps were actually intentional, allowing rainwater to escape or evaporate, while overhangs and the direction of boards guided water away from vulnerable joints. Timber that stays wet is timber that rots. Medieval builders understood this instinctively. Today, creating even minimal gaps, maintaining roof slope and positioning boards with water flow in mind can, dramatically reduce hidden moisture and prolong timber life. Timber selection influenced placement as well. Builders often match boards based on grain, density and resin content, placing denser, stronger boards in areas prone to higher stress or exposure to water. Softer boards were used where flexibility was needed, or in less critical sections. This was not random. It was in fact an early form of material engineering, ensuring that each part of the roof could handle its unique demands. Modern builders can replicate this by, carefully assessing timber characteristics and placing boards in positions that really maximize their natural strengths. Joinery and fastening were, coordinated with board placement. Boards were connected using wooden pegs, tongue and groove joints, or simple overlaps, each designed to manage movement as timber expanded and contracted with seasonal changes. Proper placement minimized gaps or weaknesses that could allow water ingress or structural stress. In modern terms, this is, I suppose, a lesson in thinking beyond nails and screws, considering how wood naturally behaves under environmental stress and using joinery that complements that movement. Even small adjustments, like allowing expansion gaps or aligning boards to complement the rafter span, can, really prevent long-term decay. Thermal and airflow considerations also guided board layout. Roofs were arranged to promote ventilation, with gaps and orientations that encouraged air movement under the covering. This reduced condensation on beams and inside cavities, which, honestly, is an issue that modern insulated attics can still struggle with. Ancient builders intuitively balanced exposure to wind and sun to protect the structure, demonstrating that placement isn't only structural, it's environmental, really. Modern applications can include ridge vents, soffit ventilation, or simply, mindful placement of boards to maximize airflow and minimize moisture retention. Durability and maintenance factored into placement as well. Boards in high-traffic areas or prone to wear from maintenance activities were positioned to allow easy replacement. Many medieval structures were repaired incrementally, and having boards accessible without dismantling the entire roof was honestly a deliberate design choice. This principle can be applied today. Plan for future maintenance by positioning boards in ways that reduce the effort needed to replace damaged sections. Applying these lessons today is both practical and insightful. Study the stress points on your roof and consider staggering or reinforcing boards where weight accumulates. Maintain airflow and drainage by leaving intentional gaps and guiding water off vulnerable joints. Evaluate timber characteristics, placing denser or more resinous boards where they're most needed. And, incorporate flexible joinery that accommodates natural wood movement and design layouts with maintenance in mind. These strategies, inspired by centuries-old practices, protect timber from moisture, stress, and decay far better than a purely uniform, random approach. If this guide helped you see roofs through the eyes of medieval builders and understand the importance of board placement, subscribe to Echoes of Valor and share this video with anyone interested in historic construction or long-lasting timber roofs. Ancient builders left us blueprints of wisdom, not just in tools and materials, but in careful design choices that can still save modern roofs today.